Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I'm your friend Atri and today I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365 dated 24th of September 2021. This is your one-stop solution for any news and updates which will help you prepare for your civil services examination, and along with that it is also going to be beneficial for any other Assam state government services. So don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram for any details related to further job notifications. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. The new norms should push India to work harder to make its air cleaner and safer. Further, the feasibility of implementing the new guidelines is quite questionable, especially in challenging geoclimatic zones like South Asia, which includes our country. However, as the World Health Organization's guidelines are not binding, the move does not immediately impact our country as the national ambient air quality standards don't meet the World Health Organization's existing standards. Given the condition of air pollution in our country, there is a need to strengthen health data and revise the national ambient air quality standards accordingly. The hard lockdown phases during pandemic have demonstrated the dramatic reduction that is possible when local pollution and regional influences can be minimized. Coming to the second news, which is regarding Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and the United Arab Emirates. Recently, India and the United Arab Emirates formally launched negotiations on this economic partnership agreement, looking to build on the progress made by both the countries under the last partnership, which was signed in the year 2017. Both the nations expressed their desire to reach a mutually beneficial economic deal. This comprehensive economic partnership agreement is actually a kind of free trade pact which covers negotiation on the trade in services and investment, and it also includes other areas of economic partnership. This may even consider negotiation on areas such as trade facilitation and customs cooperation, along with competition and intellectual property rights. India has signed a CEPA with South Korea and Japan. The CEPA also looks into the regulatory aspects of trade, and this encompasses an agreement covering the other regulatory issues. If we look at the economic relations between both the nations, then UAE is currently India's third largest trading partner with bilateral trade valued at 59 billion USD in the year 2019-20. Along with that, United Arab Emirates is also India's second largest export destination after the US and is the eighth largest investor in India. Major exports and imports includes petroleum and petroleum products, precious metals, stones, gems, jewelry, minerals, etc. This particular comprehensive economic partnership agreement is expected to increase the bilateral trade in goods up to 100 billion US dollars within the next 5 years. This is also going to widen the social and economic opportunities between both the nations. Other types of trade agreements include free trade agreement, which is a kind of agreement in which two or more countries they agree to provide preferential trade terms, tariff concession, etc. to the partner country. India has negotiated such FTAs with many other countries like Sri Lanka. Next, we have the preferential trade agreement. In this type of agreement, two or more partners they give preferential right of entry to certain products. This is done by reducing duties on an agreed number of tariff lines. India has signed a PTA with Afghanistan. Thirdly, we can talk about the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement, which is not as comprehensive as the CEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. And India has signed a CECA with Malaysia. Other such examples include bilateral investment treaty and trade and investment framework agreement. The next news is about climate-induced migration and modern slavery. The International Institute for Environment and Development, IIED, and the Anti-Slavery International have released a report named Climate-Induced Migration and Modern Slavery. IIED is a policy and action research organization that promotes sustainable development, and they link local priorities to global challenges. This organization is based in London, UK, and Anti-Slavery International is actually world's oldest international human rights organization, which was founded in the year 1839. It is also the only British charity exclusively working to eliminate all forms of slavery. Climate change, we all know, is disturbing the planet, and it has led to intensifying the global inequality as well as disputes over resources like land, water. People are being driven to migrate within and across the borders in search of food and income. As many as around 55 million people were internally displaced within their countries due to the extreme events of the year 2020. The World Bank has also estimated that by the year 2050, the impact of climate crisis like poor crop yields, lack of fresh drinking water, and rising sea levels will force another 200 million people across certain regions to leave their homes. Climate change induced extreme weather events have put women, children, and minorities at risk of modern slavery and human trafficking. The phenomena is also on rise in India, among other countries. The drivers of vulnerability of modern slavery are complex, and they are also impacted by many other risks. While several socio-economic, political, cultural, and institutional risks shape vulnerability, they are also increasingly considered to be made worse by the climate change events. If we need to consider an example within our country, then we can take the example of Sundarban region, which is characterized by intense, recurrent, and sudden onset of disasters. Therefore, millions of people here across Sundarbans are unable to work for most of the year. Along with that, severe cyclones and flooding in Sundarban Delta had also reduced the land for agriculture, which is a major source of livelihood. While there are restrictions which are imposed by the bordering countries, the smugglers and traffickers operating in the area, they have targeted widows and men who are desperate to cross the border to India to find employment. Women are often trafficked and they are forced into hard labor and prostitution. And people displaced and migrating from the rural and urban areas also, they don't have other resources. These are targeted by the agents and traffickers. Therefore, it is the need of the hour to recognize the impact of climate change, and all the development policy makers, they urgently need to address the issue that millions of people have been displaced by climate change because of climate change, and they will be exposed to slavery in the upcoming decades. We need to develop some targeted actions as well. Policymakers, they should therefore develop targeted actions at national and international levels in order to address the issue. And the global and regional discourse on development and climate policy must consider trafficking and the slavery risks due to climate shocks. G20, they should commit to providing long-term funding in order to address anti-slavery efforts in the context of recurring displacement due to climate impacts. There are various forms of modern slavery, which includes human trafficking, forced labor, then debt, bondage, or bonded labor. This is world's most widespread form of slavery. People are trapped in poverty, borrow money, and they are forced to work in order to pay off the debt. They therefore lose control over their employment conditions and the debt. Then we have decent based slavery, most traditional form where people are treated as property and their slave status was passed down the maternal line. Slavery of children is another major issue. Okay, it is another very crucial form of modern slavery. When a child is exploited for someone else's gain, it is the slavery of children, and this can include child trafficking, child soldiers, child marriage, and even child domestic slavery. Forced and early marriage is also a form of modern slavery when someone is married against their will and they cannot leave. Most child marriages can be considered as a form of modern slavery. The next news is related to blue flag certification. This is a kind of eco label, okay? And the Foundation for Environment Education Denmark has awarded the blue flag certification to Kovalam Beach of Tamil Nadu and Eden Beach of Pondicherry. taking the total number of such beaches in our country to 10. A waving blue flag is actually an indication of 100% compliance to the 33 stringent criteria and sound health of a beach. It is an internationally recognized eco-label, which is that is accorded based on 33 criteria, and these 33 criteria are divided into 4 major heads, which are environmental education and information, bathing water quality, environmental management, conservation and safety services in the beaches. And the blue flag beaches, these are considered to be the cleanest beaches of the world, and it is an ecotourism model which endeavors to provide the tourists clean, hygienic bathing water, and along with that, facilities, other important facilities, a safe, healthy environment, and sustainable development of that area. It is accorded by the international jury composed of eminent members from United Nations Environmental Programme, United Nations World Tourism Organization, Denmark-based NGO Foundation for Environmental Education, and lastly, the International Union for Conservation of Nature. On the lines of blue flag certification, India has also launched its own eco-label, BEAMS, Beach Environment and Aesthetics Management Services, which comes under the ICZF, that is Integrated Coastal Zone Management Project. This was launched by the Society of Integrated Coastal Management and the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. The major objectives of this program is to abate pollution in coastal waters, promote sustainable development of beach facilities, protect and conserve coastal ecosystems and natural resources, and along with that, to strive and maintain high standards of cleanliness in that area. The 8 other beaches which have received this blue flag certification of our country, it includes the Shivrajpur beach of Gujarat, Hogla in Daman and Diu, Kasarkod and Padubidri beach of Karnataka, Kappad in Kerala, Rushikonda of Andhra Pradesh, Golden Beach of Orissa, and Radhanagar beach in Andaman and Nicobar. And with this, we have come to an end of today's session. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another new segment of Current Affairs 365 only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.
Borthakur IAS Academy. প্রস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা।
Borthakur IAS Academy.